Welcome everyone. So we are so excited. English Without Borders is excited to launch Wednesday series of English Without Borders Chai Talk with outstanding people who make a great contribution in the development of culture and education through English. And today I'm very happy to introduce our guest today, Zebuniso Rasulzoda. And just to give a brief introduction about Zebuniso, I would like to highlight that she's a young Tajik poetess and writer, and she has been awarded the State Sign Excellence in Culture of Tajikistan. She has been among the top 50, which was nominated by Vatan Radio, and she's a poet and writer in Tajikistan who creates in Tajik, English, and Russian languages. She started writing poems from her early childhood, and her first book, Pantame, was published in 2019. Her new books, Pannomar, Revelations of News, Adventures of Virus, and Pantame were published in Tajik, English, and Russian in 2020, and now are available on Amazon and Litpress. And today we invited Zebuniso to this ABB Chai Talk in order to have a nice conversation with her and also to introduce her talent to all the audience who are watching us through the English Without Borders programs. Good afternoon, Zebuniso, and good afternoon, Nasiba. Thank you very much to English Without Borders teams, to you for the invitation. And I'm happy to be here. And this is a nice opportunity to share my creative work, to tell about my creative work to other people. Thank you. Thank you. Zebuniso, just we know that you are also a member of the English Without Borders.
Yeah.
And we are very happy to have you as a member, and we believe that your creative work will also foster the teaching skills of lots of English teachers in Tajikistan as well. So just can you tell some words about yourself so our audience will learn about your biography as well?
Okay. I was born in Dushanbe in family of teachers. My father is a teacher of mathematics and my mother is a teacher of Russian language. And we moved to Khujand, and I grew up in Khujand. I graduated from Khujand State University from the Faculty of Oriental Languages in 2005. And thanks to the knowledge of English, I'm teacher of Arabic and English languages, my specialization. So I started to work in public organization, and then we moved to Moscow in 2006. And knowledge of language helped me there also. And I worked as a translator, as a specialist, and head of Eastern projects, Middle East country projects division in investment pharmaceutical international companies. And in 2017, we came back to Tajikistan. And return to the motherland gave me inspiration, and I started to write. And in 2019, my first book, Pantame, was published. Mm-hmm. It was a very big step in my creative career, and for all my other family, it was a very important step. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy that thanks to all this, I'm here today. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm writing on the basis of Tajik and Eastern legends, fairy tales, and I express them in a poetic form.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So yeah, I was very impressed when I first read your first book, and then of course, just I'm looking forward to reading more books from you. So and I can say that knowing knowing the English has helped you a lot in your career, right? And to what extent it is helping you right now?
First, my step in writing English, it was inspiration from the poems of Rudyard Kipling, mm-hmm. Shakespeare, George Gordon Byron. I tried to read a lot, and knowledge of English always helped me to open that. I think who knows English, he has the key of the whole world in his hand. And I decided to translate my last book, Adventures of Fairuz, into English. It was very hard work because English poetry has its special rules, and it differs from Russian poetry rules. And but it was a very productive work and cooperation also. Editors, designers, as publishers, and this book was born in 2020. And now I also participate recently. It's also thanks to knowledge of English. I participated in the workshop of UN Woman, Awake Not Sleeping. There were gathered several children writers, and we rewrite fairy tales in order to inspire and encourage girls to be more stronger, to be active, and to be painter of their lives. And these all achievements become available thanks to my knowledge of English. So I invite you to learn. I advise you to learn this language in English.
So, yeah, that's very good. I mean, just it's very interesting that you are trying to break the stereotypes. Yeah, so kind of passive woman and transforming woman to more resilient, more determined, and kind of change makers. So the fairy tales will be transformed completely, or how it's going to be.
As we see, usually Cinderella and other fairy tales, the women and girls role is very passive. So they are waiting for the prince, and they are not active. They are not the builders of their life. So, and we are trying to change these stereotypes because through the fairy tales, the children's stereotypes are forming. And that is why fairy tales are very important in and they make very important contribution to the forming of their mindset. And that's why we rewrite, and I also choose the fairy tale about brave girl. And I translated into English, and it passed through the second round, and now we are in the process of editing. It's a very interesting work.
So excited to learn more about that. So dear followers and English Without Borders members, so please you can write your questions on Facebook in the comment box, and also just you can join us via Zoom link, which is provided on the Facebook page of our English Without Borders social media. And you can also leave your questions so we can address them to Zebuniso. So thank you for being with us. And we have just some more questions. So because it's very interesting to learn that you are just writing in 3 languages, and so your books are on Amazon and Litres, just very exciting. So the question is when did you first realize that you want to be a writer?
I started from writing poems, but I understood that the framework of the poem are not enough for me. And that's why and then I realized that I want to be a writer too. And my first book in prose and in poetic form, it was Revelations of the Muse. It consists from 35 short stories which are illustrated by the poems at the end. And these stories have special topics, love, about attitude to the children, about parents, about women, about wife and husband relationships, and etc. And this story describes the lives experience of the people which I met, and it had a very nice. I received very nice feedback from my readers. And also participated in international and Eurasian creative guide contest. And now this book is in the final stages of this contest. And I'm happy that this work was recognized, was assessed, and accepted by the people.
Yeah, so we keep our fingers crossed for you. And then really believe that your work will be kind of valued, for its creativity, for the content, as well as just for brilliant ideas that you can have. Okay, so it means like this desire of writing like started from the early childhood, and it just keeps going on. Okay.
I wrote my first poem when I was 5. It was dedicated to the birthday of my father. I still remember this poem. And from early childhood, I remember that I liked to read poems, Pushkin, Karnichkovsky, and others. And when I grew up, of course, Iso had an influence and in my mind. And then it was like an expression of these thoughts, of these influence in my poetry.
So, and then later on, I believe that you moved to Shakespeare, to
Byron.
So,
because news of the poet is very surprising. She doesn't like when you are lazy because she pushed to learn, to read a lot, and always develop and work on myself, on my knowledge of myself, and that is why I try to read, and where I go, I try to buy books, and usually I come back with a lot of books. And try to read and to learn a lot of things, because knowledge is a big ocean. So that's why what we know is like a small drop in it, and the life is a permanent learning.
So very interesting. Okay. And when did you write your first book? So how old were you when you decided to write a book?
I was 34, and I described this in Revelation of the News. I was ill and I had a fever heat, and suddenly I understood that I wanted to write, and I started to write and couldn't stop. And my mother, she is the first editor, and she's the first person who assessed my poems. And when she read, she said that the poems are and if you collect them, you can publish it.
So it was a good idea.
Okay. And I started to work on it, and in March 2019, my first book on my was published. It was my first child.
Each book is considered as a child. So just you labor over them, you just nurture them. You just kind of contribute a lot of attention, care, and everything. Okay, so good. Good comparison. Okay. So, and I know that one of your recent books, it's kind of very nice book. It's an adventurous book. It is called Adventures of Blues. So I don't know. Maybe I heard from somebody, and maybe I just because on Facebook people talk a lot about the book, and somebody just compared that it's kind of the plot is very similar to famous Harry Potter. So what can you say about that?
To be honest, I read this book before then become familiar with famous Harry Potter. I inspired my daughter asked to write a fairy tale for her, and I wrote it. And then I decided to make it wider, to work on it, and to add the prose. It was an important form, and then I add the prose and ideas. So it was an inspiration, and I was eager to write and to describe these heroes, his adventures, and I inspired from our legends and fairy tales. And I know that you read it.
Yeah, so yeah, I was lucky to read the first.
Yes, and the Sheikh Muslihuddin is our legend. It's a hero of legend. It's a historical person of Pujan, and also I added his hero into this fairy tale, and it was it's difficult to describe this inspiration. And because I started to write and couldn't stop for several hours, and even whole night I was in the process of writing. And then this book was born. And maybe somebody finds that the plot is similar, but it is the first time, the first part. But the second and the third part, the plot will be different.
So it's going to be a trilogy.
Yeah, a trilogy.
Okay.
And I hope that people liked it and accept it.
Yeah, we're looking forward. So yeah, it would be good just if you just recite some of the poems in English, because this month, particular April, the whole English-speaking community in the world, they celebrate like Poetry Day, and we celebrated English Language Day a week ago. So I mean, it would be really nice to hear some of your creation in English.
There was question here at the site of the evil fire diamond. It was disgusting. He had a huge red face, horns, and nose of verena. Instead of arms, he had huge blue claws, and his body was black. Snake scales covered his skin, and instead of legs, there were wild boring hooves. It was an incomprehensible and ugly creature. The sheikh gave a little shake to Firuz and said, "Do not be afraid. This is just a recreated picture. This demon will not harm you." If be honest, this fact did not reassure him much, so he grabbed hold of the sheikh's sleeve even more, and the sheikh continued. Then our Lord decided to create a man. He gave him beautiful heart and brain. God sent a man to the planet, to the earth, in order to save nature and the universe. The task of man was fighting the fire. The earth and the nature were in the dire, and man had started to fulfill his role. He fought with fire, planted the trees off, and man could defeat the fire demon, earth revival, and breathe once again. And that couple in nature was the main thing. Oxygen and hydrogen were the beginning of everything.
Excellent, very excellent. So I already just imagine, the shower, and also just Firuz, just his feelings. So yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. Okay, yeah, and I would recommend to all our followers and also English Without Borders members to find this book. It's available in the stores, and because it is really exciting, and you can find lots of adventures of yours, and no doubt, so your kids will love this book, and it's good for family reading as well. Thank you. Okay, so Zebuniso, so far I know that your family is in a big sense is also supportive of your writing skills, and
of course.
So do you feel like they always kind of support you in writing career, and how do you feel just they support?
First of all, they make comfortable conditions in a creative room. I have the separate room with the books, etc. And when I started to my work, they try to not bother me because they all know very, very well that I don't like and I become angry if someone bothers me doing the creative work. And also they support me and in my public activity. And I'm very thankful to my family because without their support, it was impossible for me. And I hope that a talented person, other who opens the talent in their self, to discover, they could find the support from their families too. So that maybe new names we know in the future maybe. And I hope that this attitude will be the example for other families too.
Yeah, exactly. Just even just looking back and tracking the biography of probably many talented and gifted writers and poets, you can see that in many cases the family was so much supportive of them, and they were kind of backing up them all the time, just inspiring them to move, encouraging them to move forward. Yeah, okay. So that's very nice. Okay, so what do you think makes a good story poem? Like, so maybe some quote or maybe some ideas. So in your opinion, what makes a good story or a poem?
I think poem or story must touch the heart of people. It must capture their attention. If it can do it, so I think it can be successful. It can be successful poem or story. Because creative work, it's like a key to the hearts of people. And it's also responsibility. And that's why we try to share, to describe the values, the good values, as a kindness, as a kind of attitude, tolerance, etc. in creativity.
Yeah, so we are trying to kind of address all those human values and highlight them.
Because these are also all our fairy tales and legends, they consist of these values and these messages. And when I use them, I try to keep these messages and to share with others through my poems.
So you try to keep them intact, but you do translation in different languages. Okay.
I change and adapt to the today's reality, and I make changes. Something I add. Of course, it's creative. The author adds changes, put its own idea and its own inspiration and thoughts, and I try to keep them. I try to keep the main this message about human rights.
Yeah, excellent. So I just I remember I read it somewhere, and there was a kind of comparison. So all the creativity, it starts with 3H. So it's kind of heart, head, and hands. So like, like a poet, you got inspiration in your heart and then it just goes to your head and then your hands start writing. So it's like that, I bet, yeah? Okay, so good. Zebuniso, what was one of the most surprising things that you learned in creating your books?
Yeah, first of all, it was the feedback from my reader. She wrote that my stories and poems helped her to pass through difficulties in her life. Then I understood that my creative work, that my stories, poems help people. And I think poets, writers, and artists, they make influence. They must help people. Because life is not easy, yes, and that's why we must inspire people to support them through the words, through the poems, through the stories, through the songs also. And I discovered it, and I learned it, and I understood that it's very important for me. It's important task of my poems and stories.
Yeah, really interesting. So my next question, so do you always write books for kids or you also have some books for adults, like, for different ages? So
I started from writing for adults, but then I turned to the fairy tales, etc., and decided to write for kids. It's a very interesting process. I experiment, I test everything on my son. I read him usually my fairy tales. If he said that, oh, it's very interesting, and listen attentively, I understood that it's interesting, yes, and I can publish and share with others. And now I have books also for adults and for kids. And I hope to continue writing for kids. I like it.
Okay, good. So you are planning, like, to continue this trilogy of heroes, and then probably you will be writing some fantasy books as well, or or you want just everything to be based on some historical figures, or maybe just on some historical events that have happened, because nowadays many poets, they're trying to keep this cultural and historical heritage, like, because we are living in a global world, that everything, the process of globalization is ongoing, like, we cannot just influence it or we cannot stop it. So what will be your focus in writing?
I want to collect fairy tales, tragic fairy tales, and to express them. I already did it, but I wanted to select a special for kids and to express them in English poetic form. Because, of course, stories, they are very interesting, but when you poems for children, it is more attractive. And that's why it is intention. It's intention, and I hope that after Firuz, after ending the trilogy of Firuz, I will translate the parts of Punk Mama into English. Special fairy tales, tragic fairy tales. And I hope it will be interesting for children.
Yeah, so I'm also just looking forward to read them. Yeah, because like everything starts from the childhood. Even Einstein once he said, if you want your kids to grow up happy, you should start reading them fairy tales, because they just kind of awake all those human feelings inside of them. So, and so we'll be waiting for fairy tales. Okay. So, all right. So now we know that you just devote plenty of your time to writing poems, and to be honest, like from your words, I can say that it takes lots of your time. Yeah. So, and what do you do when you're not writing? So, as an ordinary woman, mother, what do you do?
I like to cook. I like to cook, to read, and I like to read fairy tales to my children. My son usually comes to me and asks, read me, recite me, please. I will open fairy tales, Tajik fairy tales, Azerbaijan, Uzbek, Turkmen fairy tales, Turkish, from different countries. And I read them and they love them. I love this process.
Okay, yeah. So it's kind of, when you receive feedback and so you receive like positive feedback, it inspires you more. Yeah. Okay, so good. All right, so Zebuniso, we also have our followers and also just audience who are asking questions using Facebook. So we have like Judy Elliott, so she was our speaker on this webinar, which we have in English with our photos. And she's asking like, do you teach others how to write?
No, to be honest, I'm just I make my first steps in writing. Now I'm learning.
Okay.
But if someone needs advice, of course, I will be very good to help, to share my experience. And if somebody wants, I would be glad to cooperate in this field.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So we'll keep in mind, maybe, it will be a starting point for our collaboration as well. So yeah, a member of the English Without Borders. Yeah, and I think it's a good point, like, to start thinking in the way. So, because we know that there are maybe among their children or maybe among the teenagers, there is some talented, people who would be willing, to continue or just to have some lessons from you, or maybe just to have meetings with you and also to receive some feedback. Because like, in many cases, like when teenagers have some skills, they usually try not to make them just, open, or try not to show off them, they usually just try to keep it inside, and then as soon as they receive some feedback from very from a person who is competent in that, then they just start like, moving forward and start just opening their hidden talents. Yeah, okay, thank you. So yeah, let's hope that it will be a starting point for our collaboration. Okay, so we have a next question. Okay, in your opinion, who can write poems? It's only talented ones, or it may be a result of hard work? Could you please share your opinion about that? So,
I think it's a gift from God, because inspiration is it's very surprising and very capricious. And if you do not work on yourself, do not fulfill her task, the task of muse, she go away and doesn't come to you. And I think maybe every person can start, but poetry, I think it's given. Yes, talent is given. From the universe. Yes, from the universe.
Okay. So it means like, because sometimes some kids, they are very good at creating some rhymes, at creating some, some, or maybe coining some words, and then sometimes like, if you want, even, I know that if you want to try something and to find out if the kids love it, then, people will love it, because the kids are usually better know how things will be just in an easy way, just in a way that will be appealing to others. So yeah, okay, thank you. So we have another question. Mirzo Anil Bakoyev is asking, what motivates you to write poems?
Reading, first of all, reading, and nature. I like to visit. I like to go to the mountains. I like to meet with people. Sometimes I meet people and they share their life experience with me. And for me, every person is like a closed book. And they open their book usually, and I read from the pages of their life, and this inspires me, and I write poems. I write poems which describes their life stories, and maybe from nature when I see mountains or something, or beautiful flowers, visiting parks, and when I usually with my children, spend time with my children, they also inspire me to write, because I'm happy. I feel the happiness in these moments, and this all motivates me to write. I think circumstances and environment is very important for creative person, because we feel everything very, we are very sensitive, and that's why we feel everything and describe it and express it through our poems and creativity. And that's why the environment must be comfortable for this.
Yeah, that's interesting. Thank you. So we have more questions, and also just people are asking. How long does it take you to write a book?
It depends on inspiration, first of all, and from my workload. My first book, it was written during 4 months, 2 months of written, and then 2 months of preparation for publishing, design, editing, and it's a complicated process. And but some books they take a lot of time. Revelations of the Muse, I spent 3 months for preparing this book, the draft of the book, then editing, design, etc. And people say that I'm very productive because in 2020, I published during the pandemic. I published 3 books. Yes, it was very important achievement for me. So that's it.
So very good. So, and in your opinion, what is your writing process like? So, it's kind of you work the whole night, or you just take some time off when you are just find some space, like and just maybe have a sign on your door. Please don't disturb me for 2 days. Yeah, just leave the food on the door, and then yeah, and then how it's like, because to be honest, like I learned that some poets say that they get inspiration from music. Yeah, some of the poets, they get inspiration from beautiful picture. Yeah, and some. So there are so many different ways, and yeah, how it works in your just writing process.
My inspiration is unpredictable. So even during the lunch, it make time, and I interrupt my lunch and start to write. There is a station where we had the lunch with our family, and I stood up suddenly and tried to find the wisdom.
Yeah, paper and
yes, a pen and the paper, and try to write what I feel and express this poem. Just because if I don't write in this moment, I can forget what I had in my head. That's why news doesn't like lazy. And usually I write during the whole night, and it depends on inspiration. And then my children, they know that I say I'm busy, not disturb me, and they try to not touch me, do not tell me anything. They say, "Oh, mom is writing, not disturb her." So and for my relatives, for my family, I'm thankful for them because they understand this. And they say that talent is a responsibility, and you must share. You must write, because it's not given to everyone. So this is very interesting process.
Yeah, that's very interesting because I remember that when I read about, like, the biography of poets like Shakespeare, Byron, let's say just so many others that wrote brilliant poems. In their case, the muse was a real person, a real person. Like, I assume they just maybe made some friendships, or maybe fell in love with. So they say that muse can be a real person, can be a fictional one, and in your case, who is that?
My muse is a fictional, but I feel her. I feel her. And during the process of writing, if I have the first line, I already know the second line, and I must write very quickly. So, and my muse, she looks to the world through the love. She loves people, nature, books, and delighted to discover together new books of people's life, and to share their stories. And it's very interesting feelings. It's an interesting feeling, and it's hard to to describe or imagine this.
Okay. Yeah, very nice. So okay, so just to say, maybe 5 tips. Let's say if you would like to share 5 tips for young writers or for young poets, 5 things, 5 recommendations, 5 tips, however you call it, So what would be they?
First of all, do not be afraid. First of all, do not be afraid to start. To be ready to work hard. To be ready to critique.
So to be ready to accept criticism from others, okay.
Also, do not despair, because if you receive negative critique, do not despair. And learn. Permanent process of learning. Because without learning new things, you can't find inspiration. Your muse will leave very fast, very soon.
Yeah, okay. So I was just wondering, so have you ever received any, let's say, not positive feedback from your readers? And how do you responded, not reacted, but rather responded to that?
I received, it wasn't from my readers, but it was from famous poets, and I was hurt very much.
So it's kind of, oh,
So,
how
yeah.
could you, how could you
Yeah.
just criticize my book or my poem? Yeah.
But later, when I came calm, and I understood that they showed me the way to make my points better. That's why I accept this. And now I try to work on this and to learn because Tajik poetry is very complicated. Has a special framework, rhyme, and that's why I must work on it. Also, I think that Russian poetry and English poetry, it's non-stop working, non-stop working on development. And I think that I give such kind of advice: do not despair, because on that time I was despaired, and I even decided maybe I could write. Yes, I stopped write in Tajik at all. But my readers, they support me. They support me and said me that they like my poetry, and they say continue. They say continue, don't stop. That's why they helped me to pass through this complicated period. And now I try to work on it and to improve my poetry in Tajik also.
That's a very good point, because many people, whenever they see the criticism or they read, some critical reviews, it's kind of discouraging for them, because I think that it should be kind of finding some salt in that could be also a point for you for constructive criticism, right? So you just say that, that this is something I need to pay attention to, and it also just helps me to improve, these things, and also just to improve my writing. So I think it should be done like that, because sometimes when you feel the criticism and it's like very harsh criticism, it kills all the inspiration,
Exactly. It kills, and when my readers they write me and ask me what do you think about my poems, I support them. I try to make constructive, to give them constructive critique, and I try to show their strengths in their poems, and take advice.
Just give advice,
and give advice to another to how to improve and how to make first steps.
Okay, very good. Nice to hear. Okay, so we have more questions from our members on Facebook. So, do you need to have really good academic writing skills for writing books, or you can just go with your imagination? That's a very nice question. Thank you.
I think academic writing skills, they are also important, because when you write book, it's published, it's public thing, and it is responsibility. So the sentences, of course, the process passes through editing. Book passes through editing process and etc. But if you try to express, maybe not everyday phrases, maybe it must be book which improve language skills. Even it's in Russian or Tajik or English, and that's why strong academic skills are very important. And I received recently feedback from Russian native speaker. He wonders because you write in Russian and you write like a native speaker. He said because words which you use in your poems, maybe native speakers don't know. So they I learned them from books. So a lot of reading. It's also the way to the development of academic skills also.
Yeah, so and particularly, I mean, just, based on what you say, like you can say that if a person tries to improve writing skills in English, that the recommendation would be just reading lots of English books, because like it's not only just about writing book, but it's also just having own style, because there are so many writers, and you need to differentiate yourself from others, and in your case, how do you differentiate yourself?
I use legends. I use fairy tales, and I try to express them, and just I change maybe the storyline, the story plot, and to make my own contribution in a description, of heroes, features, their features, and their characters. I make changes, and I think now I have several types, several directions in my writing. It consists of fairy tales and legends, and it is for educating, it's directed for educating of children or adults. And the revelations of the muse, it is the collection of stories, short stories with a poem which I illustrated this poem. And I think it's my feature that even in my prose I add poems. Modern writers. And one more thing, you write in English. I appreciate this from other Tajik and Russian writers and poets. Okay, and we have the last question. Binoro is asking, how different is it to write in Tajik from writing in other languages? There's some, let's say, difficulties, or so in which language it's easy for you to write, in which language it's a little bit difficult. So your experience. Firstly, I write in Russian because maybe the reason is that I lived there for 11 years. And it's easy for me to express my thoughts in Russian, but sometimes inspiration has come, and it's easy to write in English, so it becomes easy. And I think that after reading of poems, after reading of books in English, or after reading of the books in Tajik, I also can I follow their styles and write something new. But in English, there are special rules, especially in poetry, and it's not easy to write in English. It's easier for me to write in Russian, and it's not also easy to write in Tajik because it's a mathematical. Tajik poetry has mathematical rules, and they are obligatory for poets. And now I'm working on it, and my Tajik poems still are not so. Yeah. So just to resume your words, it means like, learning is an ongoing process for any poet. So you learn just, because not only just writing, some books or poems in several languages, it's not like an easy task, and it's just a continuous process that you learn, that you develop, and you create, and you just, get perfection every time. And even when I read my previous poems, I say, oh, I'm there here, it's not so brown, maybe, oh, I must change here, I must change something, or add something, or correct them in everything. So it's sustainable, it's permanent process of learning and developing of these skills. So I hope that I will be successful in this. And then I read a lot Tajik classical literature, also English poetry, Russian poetry, composers. And there is all giving inspiration to write, continue writing. Excellent. So yeah, that's very nice to know and also to learn through your experience. So, and who's your favorite poet in Tajik, in Russian, in English, or who is your favorite writer in Tajik, English, and Russian? I think our poets, classical poets, outstanding people. Their creativity is outstanding, and it's invaluable for all humanity, I think. And I love Udaki poetry. I love Mahayan. I love Jalaluddin, famous worldwide famous writers. And from English, from English, best of all, I like poetry. Marvelly. Famous Marvelly, yeah. I actually his poems. Poems, yes. His poems are very interesting. They have a special melody, and I learned a lot from his poems. And in Russian, Alexander Pushkin, the founder of Russian literature. From the modern literature, and there are a lot of stars in the literature. It's hard to choose out of them because I learn from every one of them. That's very interesting. So yeah, and so I think just we can talk for hours. We can talk for hours and just go through each of your book and also just we'll discover the whole world of creativity and literature in 3 different languages. So using this moment, I'm expressing deep gratitude to you, Zebuniso, for coming to our office and also finding time and also just for having a very interesting conversation today. So our program is called English Without Borders Chai Talk, and when we hope the next time we'll be having chai because like Ramadan right now, and of course, we'll be happy to see you over again. They're doing the bureau, and we will hope that with more books to appear, to come, to be born. And then thank you for coming, and thanks a lot, dear members of English Without Borders, dear followers of English Without Borders. Thanks for asking questions and for the active participation in English Without Borders chapter. Famous Zebuniso Rasulzoda. So wishing all of you to have a good evening, and we'll be having this chai talk each month with outstanding people. And please follow us on social media, on Facebook, and as well as on Instagram, and also follow our website, English Without Borders, to stay tuned on and also to participate actively in all our activities, both in person and online. So have a good evening. See you soon. And tomorrow we'll be having our English Without Borders Thursday webinars. We'll be having the media literacy in the classroom by Tyler. So looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you for learning.